Hello to everyone tuning in. I hope you're having a great morning, afternoon, or evening, wherever you are. My name is William Bolch. I'm the host of the College Athlete Life, where we gain a further understanding of the college experience through the eyes of a college athlete. Welcome to our second episode. Joining me today is the very talented Isabel Amezcua of NC State. Thank you for joining me today, and how are you doing?
Thank you for having me. I'm doing really good. How about you?
I'm doing great, thanks. It's good to have you be a part of the show. So I guess I will sort of start. So you were born. I'll start where your life began, I guess, in Mexico. Do you remember much of your first time in Mexico? Oh, sorry, in Wisconsin. Pardon me.
So I was actually born in Wisconsin, but my dad got transferred to Mexico City, and I was only 6 months old, a year old maximum. So I don't remember much, but I do remember growing up there, and it's been amazing growing up in Mexico.
Yep. So, how much of your time did you spend in Mexico the first time that you were there?
Yeah, so basically my whole life I was there for 16 years,
Yep.
and I moved to Texas for my freshman year of high school. I was only there for a year, but it was a great experience. And later on, I moved back to Mexico. I was there living with my family for a year in Mexico City. And for my last 2 years, I went to a golf academy in San Luis Potosí, Mexico.
Yep.
So different experience, but it was amazing.
Yeah. I love the pronunciation of the academy.
Yeah.
um. So before, I guess when you switched from Mexico to Texas, were you like speaking English then, or were you only speaking Spanish?
Yeah, so for most of my life, I went to an international school,
Okay.
and my my mom was very adamant in speaking only English to me.
Mm.
So I grew up speaking English and Spanish, so it's really cool.
Did you think your parents sort of sent you to that international school as like, I guess, a plan to add more skills to your repertoire, or like they knew what was
Oh,
best for you?
yeah, for sure. It was an IB system school, so I grew up with that system, and it for sure opened a lot of doors for me. A lot of writing, reading since I can remember. And after I was there until Form 1, and then I went to a Mexican system school, which obviously I had an advantage because I already spoke English, and a lot of kids my age were still learning. So it's really helped me become the person I am today.
Mm. Was there much of a change from when you moved from Mexico to Texas that you experienced, or was it fairly similar?
Yeah, for sure. It's completely different. I lived in a small town in Texas, and I grew up in a city, Mexico City, one of the biggest cities in the world.
Yeah.
It went from being 21 million people to 60,000 people. So, of course, it was a huge change, lifestyle wise. But I feel like living in Texas, it gave me a much bigger opportunity to grow my golf. Just because golf in the US is so much bigger than it is in Mexico,
Mm. And
at that time, at least.
yeah. And you also touched on it a little bit there, that you are a golfer, a member of the Wolfpack. Um,
Yep.
what, yeah, what drew you to playing golf?
So we when we first moved to Mexico, we joined a club there that had a golf, and I actually started swimming when I was a really young age. So everyone thought I was going to stay in swimming. But my brother, he played golf, so kind of followed along his steps when I was 6, and I just fell in love with the game. And I'm not gonna lie, it took a while for me to fall in love with golf,
Yeah.
and my parents kept pushing me to stay in it. And I stayed, and I'm so grateful I did because it is giving me so many opportunities.
And we'll go into those opportunities a little bit later. When you were like in your second period in Mexico,
Mhm.
um, what was the decision like going to NC State? Like, was there other considerations, or was that the main option?
Yeah, so obviously it's a long process, sending emails to coaches, going on visits, weighing pros and cons of each school. But in the end, here at NC State, everything felt so welcoming. And as soon as I visited here, I felt at home. And so it really came down to that. It was where I felt most comfortable.
Hmm. Um, so you're majoring in communications, I believe. Is that correct?
Yeah,
So
correct.
tell us about that. What's that sort of like, and what do you sort of study
Um,
with that?
yeah, so I'm a communication major, focusing on public relations.
Mhm.
It's it's always it's always been myself to communicate. I don't know if that makes sense, but I like talking. I enjoy meeting new people. So I feel like public relations was the right way for me, and I feel very happy with my decision. It's a lot of, again, reading and writing like any other college major, but um, the classes I most enjoy are the ones that are entailed to my major, and it's it's a lot of theories, a lot of why people are the way they are, how society functions, and being a public relations major is a lot of problem solving, conflict solving do with society. So it's a really cool major, and I enjoy it thoroughly.
Do you feel it's a little bit difficult to balance studies with the sporting career, I guess, or do you find that fairly comfortable?
Um, what helped me kind of ease myself into this student athlete life was the 2 years prior to coming here, going to the golf academy, which is very golf intensive. And there's not, it's, I'm going to be completely honest with you. It wasn't very much school focused, but
Mm.
you do learn how to live alone and how to manage your time. And once you get here to college, it's, it's like it hits you like a bus. You're now for sure living completely alone. You have to find a way to eat in between practice and classes, and you have to see if your schedule fits with your practice. And it's not easy, but it's very much worth it.
Mm. Would you say at first that was sort of scary or like more like a tiring thing to do?
I think I was too tired to notice how scary it was. That's for
Yeah.
sure. It's it's crazy. Right now we're in off season, but the first day you step into the first semester, it's go, go, go. You have to go to class, you have to go to workouts, you have to go practice, and then you have to study. So there's really not much time for anything, but you're not alone in the process because you have all your teammates and your coaches are trying to help you. And also, what helped a lot was my first semester here at NC State. Tournaments got canceled because of COVID, so
Mm.
it helped me ease myself into the whole situation. Obviously, without tournaments, and that's a huge factor. That spring semester hit me like a bus because you're traveling. You have to email your professors, and sometimes they're not willing to help out, but most of the time it's you have to manage your time to make those assignments up or tests or lectures or whatever.
Yeah. And what would you say like the college culture of NC State is like? Like, is it fun? Is it academic? Is it maybe a little too much partying? Where do you sort of see it fitting in?
Unfortunately, I haven't had much experience partying just because I get back home and I just want to go to bed.
Yeah.
But the few instances that I have gone out, it's been so much fun. People here are amazing. It's a very diverse community, um, which makes fitting in easy, and everyone finds their own little group. And thankfully, my team is pretty much international. We have 2 Americans on the team, but they are also amazing. But you learn so much about the world and how everything functions, and it's been so much fun.
Well, that sounds pretty good.
Yeah.
So let's move back in time, I guess, to your freshman year. I've got here in my notes that 12 of the 15 rounds that you played, you scored in the 70s, and you also had the second lowest stroke average in the team of 77.33. So
Yes.
Donna sort of talk to us about the freshman year and how that felt being such a valuable member to the team.
Freshman year was very difficult. As a team, we didn't perform the way we wanted to. So it's difficult because every tournament is a new challenge, and when you're not performing the way you want to perform, it just becomes even more difficult to balance everything. But in a way, we were all very essential to the team. It was difficult, and because in the midst of being in your freshman year, you're just getting used to everything, and then you have to do golf. So I'm not gonna lie, it was very difficult. They were not my best scores, and this year's been much better.
Yeah, you sort of talked about the first year being not your best scoring. From my understanding, golf is sort of played like in one tournament, I guess, or one event. There'll be like 3 separate rounds. Is that correct?
Yes.
What's sort of the mindset that you have if you don't perform the first round? Like when you go into the second round, do you have a mindset of like, all right, I've got to perform better here? Or do you sort of have like, it's not good to say, but do you sort of have a mindset like, oh, I'm stuffing up here, my tournament's over?
Yeah, for sure it's difficult. As I mentioned before, every tournament is a new challenge. Every day, every shot is a new challenge because golf, again, is so diverse. You never have the same shot. So I think it's very important if you don't perform the first day is to go out the second day and be like, okay, it's a new day, different conditions. I've rested, and now it's time to go perform. And if it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. Then there's another round, and there will always be another tournament. But I think in when I was playing my worst, it was just this constant negative talk to myself where I'd be like, oh, that's why you shot this, because you're bad. So I think every single athlete goes through a period of time where it's so easy to speak negatively about your game and you kind of forget the good things. So in comparison to this season from last season, it's just positive talk and hyping myself up to be like, okay, it wasn't the best round, but tomorrow's a new day, or next tournament is a new tournament. So it's hard to switch your mentality when it's going bad, but all athletes have gone through it.
Yeah. We'll move on to a bit more of a lighthearted note now before we talk about the 2021 season. I know personally for me, like I'm not a golfer. I play a bit of pitch and putt or mini golf, if you know what that is. And like, what always is a problem for me is sunburn. Is that ever a problem for you?
Yeah. So I just came back from a tournament in Argentina, and there's holes in the ozone cap there. And my skin is completely peeling off right now. So, and then because golf doesn't stop if it's an outdoor sport, obviously, but it doesn't stop if there's lightning. So it really depends what kind of day you get, but sunburns do get really bad, and tan lines are not pleasing to the eye. So.
How do you find like the right balance, I guess, between like wearing, I guess, like a t-shirt versus a long sleeve whilst also factoring the weather? Like, what do you go for? Do you go for comfort? Do you base it off the weather? Like, how do you base your
Oh,
uniform?
completely off the weather.
Yeah.
Right now it's cold here in North Carolina, so all we're wearing is long sleeve shirts, turtlenecks, and I want to say like at least two sweaters.
Hmm.
So long pants all the time. But in the summer here in North Carolina, it gets really hot and humid. So you have to wear shorts and sleeveless, but you also have to worry about the sun and you have to wear your sun sleeves. So it's just really depending on the weather.
Because I imagine that in America, particularly in North Carolina, the weather like fluctuates. Like there's a big
Yeah.
difference between the hot and the cold.
Yes, for sure.
Hmm. Um, so moving on now to the current season, I guess like the 2021 season. Do you want to talk to us
Mhm.
about that?
Yeah, I mean, after my spring season, obviously I went back home, took a week off and kind of reassessed what I had to work on. I went and saw my coach back home and we worked countless hours on just my game, my mental state, everything, so I could come back a better player this fall. In the first tournament, it was great. My first top 20 in college, and just in general, the three other tournaments we had were much more consistent on my part, and the team was much more consistent. And I think just a more positive vibe from everyone was helped not only me but the team. So it's been great.
And upcoming is the I believe it's the University of Central Florida Challenge. Um,
Yes.
how do you sort of practice for I guess the different types of golf courses, or do you just show up and play?
Yeah, so it's funny here at our facilities we have, so in many courses they have different types of grass, especially on the greens. So the two main types are bent grass and Bermuda grass. And so if we know we're going to a tournament that the course has bent grass, we will only practice on that green. But if we're going to somewhere where we know it's Bermuda, we'll only practice on Bermuda. And it's not only that, it like sometimes your game isn't at your best, so you have to learn to play with what you have. It's not really practicing the course, but it's practicing what you have that week.
Hmm. Do you find there's much of a difference though between like Bermuda and bent grass?
Oh yeah, it's just how the ball rolls and the speed of the green and how the green will react to your second shot in or first shot or third shot, whatever. How the ball spins. Um, Normally, Bermuda moves with the sun, so it really depends on which way the speed is. It's so much detail I could go into, but yeah, there is a big difference between those two.
Yeah. Um, Before you mentioned that you recently played in a tournament in Argentina.
Hmm.
Um, that was the Women's Amateur Latin America Championship, I believe.
Yeah.
How does that sort of work? I guess being a college athlete, representing the Wolfpack, and then playing in
Yeah.
these different tournaments. Like, how does that sort of work?
It's amazing. No matter what tournament I'm playing in, I'm always representing Mexico and the Wolfpack.
Yeah.
So it's it's a pride. It's exciting every time you go somewhere, because even though at the women's amateur I was representing Mexico, I'm still representing my school because that's where I play most of the year. And when I'm playing a college tournament, I'm representing the Wolfpack, but I grew up in Mexico, and people know I'm from Mexico, so I'm representing my country, and every single time I have that in mind, no matter what tournament it is.
Do you think that adds a layer of pressure or more like a layer of pride?
I think it's mostly pride. Obviously, when I don't perform, it's disappointing because in the end, it's not only for me, it's for my country and for my team. So I think sometimes it is disappointing and there is a sort of a factor of pressure, but it's so amazing being able to represent these two, my country and the Wolfpack.
Is it easy to get clearance like from the Wolfpack to play in these different tournaments? Like, do you need clearance, I guess?
Yeah, I mean, you just have to fill out a form, but there's nothing too crazy about it. I mean, yeah, there's nothing.
Yeah. Have you got like a favorite tournament you've played in outside, I guess, like not a non-college tournament?
I have to say this women's Latin America tournament was such a great experience. It was sponsored by the RNA and Annika, and Annika is one of the biggest golfers golf has ever seen. So seeing her and seeing the effort she puts into making women's golf in Latin America so big is just, it's an incredible experience. So I have to say that's one of my favorite tournaments. Yeah.
Well, what about the country, I guess, of Argentina? Did you get to explore much of it?
No, sadly, because of COVID restrictions, the tournament officials decided it was opted for us to all stay in the hotel most of the time, but you still get to experience the culture in Argentina. Obviously the people who work there are Argentinian and you kind of get the vibe. It would have been awesome to get to know the country more, but it was amazing being there.
And then during like the COVID, I guess we're sort of still in a bit of a COVID area of time. Have you ever had to play like wearing a mask?
Oh no.
No.
No, but we do have, like, if you're going to the clubhouse, you have to wear a mask, but you don't have to wear a mask to play.
Yeah. I know here in Australia, during our lockdowns, like all our recreation facilities were closed down, including golf courses, despite them being outside and despite golf being like a sport or like, for example, an activity you play like one or two people. Like, what was that like in North America? Like, did you have the same sort of regulations?
Yeah. So when the lockdown first started, all golf courses closed. So my dad actually built a net for me in my backyard. But yeah, there was no access to golf clubs, which is difficult because a big factor of golf is playing on a course. So there was no courses to play on. There was no facilities to get onto. So it was just every single golfer I know built a net or some sort of facility in their backyard.
What would you say are your goals for the short term when it comes to golfing?
I have them right here. I do want a 73 or less scoring average. Win my first college tournament individually and as a team, and play with a purpose every single time I go out onto the course. I think that's the most important goal for me because sometimes I forget why I'm out there, and it's just finding my purpose each tournament. So
Well, what about more like the long term, I guess?
Long term, it's difficult to. I would like to be an all-American golfer. I still don't know about being a pro. It would be an amazing experience, but women's golf is growing so much and it's becoming even more difficult to become a pro. That's something that I'm going to be seeing as I go through college. I do want to graduate. That's 100%. And yeah.
I've got also here like a a follow-on question.
Yeah.
Would you rather a spot on the Lpga tour or a spot on the Mexico Olympic team?
Oh, that's a Mexico Olympic team for sure.
Yeah.
It's just such an honor to represent my country anywhere. And the Olympics has always been a dream for me, which is insane. It would be insane to represent Mexico in the Olympics.
Mm. Well, because I believe golf is sort of a very new sport to the Olympics. I believe it only came back in the most recent games. Is that correct?
It came back in Rio.
Okay. Did that sort of like spur or like increase your motivation a bit more?
Yeah, for sure. I remember watching the Olympics that year and watching the women play, and I must have been it was almost 5 years ago, I think, Rio.
Mm.
I just remember being like, I want to be there someday, and it's been a push factor for me to still be in golf.
Yeah. If we step aside from golf, I guess, have you got like as well as the graduating from your degree that you've mentioned, have you got, well, I assume you do, but have you got, what are your goals for the future?
Obviously graduating. I know I want to work around golf. For me personally, I'd look at it because golf has been part of me for so long, and I would not be ready to let it go. I wanna be a factor to push golf in Mexico, especially for women. No matter which way I do it, is either being a pro, playing in the Olympics, or being a teacher, or making tournaments for golf there. But I know I want to be someone inspirational, so more girls like me have the opportunity to go to college on a golf scholarship.
Love the sound of that. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
We'll sort of progress now to like a short segment, if you will, I guess. I've got like Mexico versus America. So like I'll mention something and maybe give me a bit of a blurb about, why you think a certain way, and then give me what country you think has it better. I guess you'll see what I mean. So what country do you think has better music?
Oh, Mexico, for sure. Yeah. Yeah.
Any reason why? What do you think that?
I think it's more fun when I'm back home and I don't know, we go out or something. Music vibes are much more alive there. There's some music that I like here in the US. I really like country. I was very adamant in not liking country.
Yeah.
It just hit me like a bus, and now I listen to country, but most of my playlist is in Spanish.
Not sure we'll be sharing Spotify details after the end of it. What about sport? What country do you think is better at their sport?
The US has more opportunities to grow as an athlete. So I would say there's more factors pushing you to become an athlete here, just because it's more developed, and you don't necessarily have to be part of a social class to join a sport and be good at it, because there's a lot of free opportunities to be an athlete. Whereas in Mexico, you can only be a golfer if you're part of a private club, and it's expensive, or facilities there are not as near as they are good here in the US.
Yeah. What about food?
Oh, Mexico, 100%. There's no doubt in my mind. It's just amazing.
Also, sorry, weather. Proceed.
Oh, no, that's fine. Weather, I'm gonna have to go with Mexico City. You do Celsius, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so in Mexico City only, it will never go below like 4 Celsius, but it also, like, no matter the year, no matter the season, it will never go above 30. So
Hmm.
it's just perfect weather all around.
Yeah.
Here it just spontaneously rains out of nowhere, or it gets really hot. So
Hmm. Well, what about entertainment spots?
I'm gonna have to go with Mexico again.
Yeah.
I think it's mostly because I know the country better. Um, Obviously I know where to go back home, uh and it's also cheaper to go out in Mexico. Here
Hmm.
in the US, it's just everything's really expensive. So yeah, Mexico again.
Have you been able to explore much of America during your time in North Carolina?
Oh, for sure. So a lot of the times, even when growing up, I came here a lot to the US. I've been to many states. And yeah, I have to say my favorite state is North Carolina. It's so beautiful here.
Hmm. I think this sort of leads on to the next theme, if you will, cities.
Cities. Um, Raleigh, North Carolina is absolutely amazing. It's not too big, it's not too small. It's perfect. Mexico City, on the other hand, there's too many people, but it is astonishing. It's the second city with most art museums after Paris. So there's never nothing to do there, you know?
Hmm. Hmm. What about scenery and natural attractions?
Oh, North Carolina,
Yeah.
the US in general. Well, no, okay. Well,
Ooh.
North Carolina, in comparison to North Carolina and Mexico City, North Carolina, but Mexico is beautiful as well. So I'm gonna have to take a 50-50 there.
Seems a bit cheating, but we'll allow it. um, I think I know your answer. What your answer is going to be for this one, but culture and festivities.
Mexico.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Have you got like a favorite festival or time of year in Mexico?
Um, all the festivities around Halloween, Dia de Muertos. It's just so beautiful how the city is decorated. Also, Independence Day is amazing there. Everything. I love it so much.
Do the like holidays? I guess do they fairly align to the American holidays, or are they completely different?
They kind of follow along. Really, there's like a couple days like Veterans Day here. There isn't a Veterans Day there, but here they celebrate Halloween 30 to 31st. We celebrate Dia de Muertos the 1st and 2nd of November. So it kind of follows along.
Mm. So we'll now sort of move on to like I guess sort of a speed round, but like you don't have to go too fast. We're all pretty chill.
Okay.
All right. Who would you say is your biggest influence?
I have to say my parents. They're the ones who kept me in here.
Yep.
Just kept pushing me.
Favorite movie genre,
Comedy.
and then favorite movie.
Ah, I watched 21 Jump Street today and I hadn't
Yeah.
watched it in so long and it just makes me laugh so much. So I have
No,
to one of my favorites.
that's a good shout. I like that. I was actually doing like during my research, um, I remembered 22 Jump Street, and I know they
Hmm.
go to college, and I thought it was NC State. I thought that'd be a bit of an
Yeah,
interesting question.
I watched it the other
Uh,
day too on the plane, and I saw MC State, and I was like, "Wait, no, what?"
the
But no, it's not.
well, this is a bit of a I don't know. I don't know if this is offensive, but I hope it's not. Um, is mini golf a sport?
Oh no,
No,
no, no.
no. Favorite music genre?
Oh, electronic, EDM.
Electro. Oh. Have you got a favorite artist?
Elderbrook, love them.
Okay. And then favorite song in general?
Oh, that's a hard one. Feels Like a Sunday by Elderbrook.
Okay. In golf, do you sort of have like warm up / pump up songs? And if so, like what do you go to?
Yeah, for sure. I have a whole playlist on that. It's embarrassing. I'm not gonna say any of my songs on there. Just no. It's embarrassing.
All right, quickly moving on. What would you say is your favorite sport, like excluding golf?
I have to say either swimming or gymnastics.
Okay.
Those are the ones I'll watch on TV.
Yep. Your greatest achievement?
Greatest achievement. That's a hard one. Golf-wise, it had to be winning a national in Mexico a couple years ago. Life-wise, graduating high school.
Yeah.
For now.
Yeah. Do you have any hidden talents?
Yes, I do. I can turn my hand 360 degrees.
What?
I'll show you real quick.
Right, this one's for the video viewers.
There it is.
Oh no!
That's the one.
Oh. Does that help with golf at all?
Oh no, it's hyperextension, so it makes my swing more flexible, and then it just down. So I have to work a lot on strength.
Oh,
but yeah,
okay.
that's my hidden talent.
Do you ever like bring that trick out to scare the opponent a bit beforehand?
Yeah, when I first discovered it, I told my mom I'd broken my arm, and she believed me. And we were already on the way to emergency room, and then I told her that I can turn it back.
Oh,
she didn't find that too funny.
Yeah, I was gonna say you might have been in a bit of trouble after that.
Yeah.
Dream dinner guest.
Tiger Woods.
Yeah.
There it is.
If you had the option to look into your future, like, I know, let me start again. Sorry. All right, so there's a book, and it's the story of your life. You up to your current, like right now, and then would you flick forward to see what happens in the future, or would you not want to know?
For sure. Yes, yeah? I would. Yeah. I don't like surprises.
No. Go to karaoke song.
Dancing Queen.
Yeah, I like that. more of voulez-vous, man, myself, but each to their own. I'll ask you golfing ones here. What's the best golf course you've played on?
El Jaguar in Mérida, Yucatan.
Yep. I just love that accent. The dream golf course to play on?
Augusta.
Yeah. Favorite golfer?
Tiger Woods.
Yeah.
Or Lorena Ochoa. Both of them are up there.
I'm guessing that's another Spanish thing. And finally, how do you want to be remembered for your time at NC State?
Someone who had a big voice and was able to inspire people from all over the place to reach their dreams. I think I want my legacy to be someone who was able to reach out to people to follow what they believe in.
I like that. I reckon that's good. Before we conclude today, do you want to plug your Instagram or plug any of your socials?
Sure, Instagram.
Yep. Go ahead. What's the username to people for people to follow?
At Isabel Amezcua. ISABELAMECUA. That's it.
I like the spelling. It's a confusing last name.
Yeah.
Well, thank you everyone for tuning in. Thank you to the wonderful Isabel Amezcua of NC State and the Wolfpack for joining us today. We'll see you with the next episode.
Thank you.